All right, so today got a little story. So I'm personally 20 years old, about to turn 21 in like 2 weeks, roughly. For those of you that have served in the military, you can probably tell by the kind of room that I'm in right now. I'm in the military, so that means that I'm not making like a crazy amount of money right now. It's cool, but in my situation, that kind of sucks if I have made it like my personal mission to make $1 million as soon as possible, right? That has been the goal that I've set for myself. And so, one of the ways that I tried to make that happen was with the recent World Cup. So, in the World Cup, you always have like teams that are tournament favorites. So, you got like France, um, Argentina, England, Brazil, those kind of like powerhouses that nobody doubts are going to make it to at least top eight, you know, maybe semifinalists, finalists, you know. Uh, so I said, you know what? There's a bunch of smaller teams that are going to act as like, it's going to be interesting matches. Like yesterday, I seen the match with Cape Verde with Argentina, and that was a great match. Cape Verde gave it their all. But I said, how can I take advantage of this situation to try to get money? So what I ended up doing was on Robinhood, there is this feature where you can borrow money up to as much as your portfolio is worth. So in my case right now, my portfolio is sitting at about 70,000 in value, and I tried to get to 100,000. Right, I'm trying to get to 100,000 net worth as soon as possible because time is money, and it's like one of the things that I've learned while trying to learn about investing is that the more time you spend in the market, or the more time that you leave your money in the market, the more time that it will have to slowly snowball, and like you can reach financial freedom faster if you have more money, right? And for those of you that actually do want to take things the slow way, I have a playlist in the description that will take you to videos that I've watched. And some of these videos have taught me important things about building long-term sustainable wealth. It's basic math. Like if your portfolio is worth 50,000 and the market does, let's say, 10% a year on average typically, then 50,000 next year, can assume you'll have around 55,000. But if you have 100,000, then you'll have 110,000. If you have 200,000, you'll make 20,000, and so on. So it's like the faster you can accumulate money, also the more you can have in the future. And that's another reason why I'm making this YouTube channel, is I want to talk about my financial mistakes and also financial things that I've learned as I'm trying to one day become wealthy. That's my dream. But yeah, back to the story. So I tried to borrow. So I used borrowed money from Robinhood, and I tried betting on the World Cup, like parlay matches and stuff. And so, luckily there was an instance where I made about like 15,000 payout, but then there's like other times where I lost 3,000 here, 4,000 there. I think my losses pretty much ended up equaling as much as the money that I made. So luckily, if I'm gonna take a lesson from this, it's that I ain't special. I'm not some kind of like sports analyst genius. I was hoping I would get lucky and that I would make, at least a couple grand, or that maybe this opportunity would be the chance for me to take my portfolio from like 70K to like 100K. But I pretty much made like no money off of this. Between like the money that I won and the money that I lost, it pretty much equals zero. And so that's one of the lessons that I took from this little experience, is that if you try to do things the fast way with wealth, that means it comes with risk, right? Obviously, the reason why you're able to make so much money with this kind of thing is because, you know, it's either win or lose. There's no like, you know, with stocks, you can buy a stock for like $200, and then, you know, let's say you need the money for whatever reason, a year later, you know, there's always a chance where that stock could have gone down like $20, which in that case it was a bad investment for the year, or, you know, the stock could have gone up to like $400, right? Um, but you know, at least, you know, in the cases where it's like a $20 loss or like a 20%, 10%, 30% loss, you still keep some of the money afterwards. With this sort of thing, it's like you can make money really fast, but you lose it just as quickly. So, you know, that wasn't the wisest decision of me. What's funny is the way that I have been able to accumulate as much money as I have now is because I've kept my expenses very low, right? So I try to eat at home, or like I eat at the cafeteria as much as possible. You know, of course, I'll treat myself, go out with friends here and there. I'll get myself something to eat after work if I'm just hungry. Like, you know, that's one of the things that I try to do for myself also, is like, of course, keep, you know, working, keep adding money, but also don't forget to treat yourself, because, you know, it's good to keep yourself motivated to wake up the next day and be like, you know what, maybe I will go to work today, maybe the work will suck, but at least I'll come back home and, you know, get myself something nice to eat or something, you know? So, but yeah, that's what's funny about the way that I made that much money, is like, I did it the slow way, right? Paycheck after paycheck, spent maybe 50% of my paycheck. Up until now, I haven't bought a car because of just circumstances that I've been in. Like, for example, I was trying to save up for a car, and then ended up joining the military, so then I didn't have a chance to buy a car, and now I'm in a situation where I can't even drive a car where I'm currently at, because I'm stationed overseas currently. So, you know, and that's great for me, because even though I'm not able to, you know, take myself wherever I want, you know, one of the things that's very expensive for young people early on is the cost of a car, right? Because that debt eats away at like the future earning power of your money. Like, as a young person, your whatever money you have invested in right now, it's probably like the most amount of future like value that that money can have, due to the effects of like compound growth. So the fact that I'm not into any sort of like losing debt right now, where I'm losing value of my money, it's great, right? And then insurance is also expensive for people in their early 20s. It's great. I'm not getting scammed by that. You know, I'm taking care of my bills, phone bills and such, and that's about the only thing I'm paying off. I'm mostly keeping most of the money that I'm making, which is, like I said, really good. But yeah, you know, the way that I was able to have as much money as I have now was by doing things the slow way. And, you know, this isn't the first time that I've tried to make money fast, but it has been the first time where like I'm able to walk away like unscathed, or like, you know, unaffected, in the sense that I didn't make too much money off of this, luckily. But yeah, there's no fast way to build wealth, or there's no reliable fast way to build wealth, besides, you know, maybe going into a skill, a trade, getting some kind of expertise, selling a course, maybe, I don't know, like something like that. But yeah, that's the main lesson that I learned. I wish I would have made money, you know, that would have been nice. But I am happy to have learned this lesson while still, and, you know, I made money. I made maybe like 2 or 3,000 in total. But, you know, I bet I made like several, like $4,000, $5,000 bets on like 3 legs or 4 legs, you know. And, you know, I'm happy that my personal finances are unaffected, pretty much. So, yeah, take things the slow way, because it's the reliable way. Unless, you know, you're some kind of like expert in something and freaking go all in, bet on yourself or whatever. But yeah, that's about it.